Welcome back to the Deep Six Wrestling Podcast. It is Monday, May 30th. If you're in the United States, it's Memorial Day, so you'd probably be listening to this on Tuesday. So I hope everybody had a fun Memorial Day or Memorial Day weekend if you did anything. I know I went to see the Bob's Burgers movies, or not movies, movie. And also went to the zoo and the beach and then watched Double or Nothing on Sunday night. So plenty of fun stuff, but there was also two big Best of the Super Junior shows this weekend. So this is the review for Night 10, which was on Saturday. And I have not watched Sunday morning's show yet, obviously. Just a busy day on Sunday. So I will be watching that as soon as I finish this podcast, and then we'll be reviewing it and putting it out for the world to hear. If you're new here, I'm Pat, and this is our Best of the Super Juniors coverage for New Japan as a part of the Deep Six Wrestling Podcast. We have shows, episodes, whatever you want to call it, for every single night of the tournament so far. If you're listening on YouTube, there is a designated playlist for the Best of the Super Juniors that you can find with our everything from our preview prediction show to, right now if you're listening to this, Night 9 of the tournament, or Night 10 of the tournament, sorry. So, plenty of stuff. And if you're on Anchor or Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, listening to this as a podcast, all of the reviews are up as well. You just have to look. We also have a Double or Nothing review show coming eventually, so that'll be hitting the airwaves, as well as a wonderful half-hour punishment video for Angelo, as he is doing a punishment mukbang for one of the shows earlier this year that he lost the prediction challenge for. That got recorded yesterday before Double or Nothing. All I have to do is edit it and upload it, so that will be coming sometime this week to our YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed, be sure to do so. Very easy, and you can help us grow. We're closing in on 150 subscribers, so if you want to help us reach that benchmark, we would greatly appreciate it. You can also follow us over on Twitter at Deep Six Wrestling without the G, just Deep Six Wrestling, and that'll let you know when we post new episodes of the podcast, or if there's delays or anything in that realm. So moving forward, I guess we can just jump right in here. Won't touch on Double or Nothing. I enjoyed the show quite a bit, but we'll talk about that when we get to the Double or Nothing review. I know some people that are listening to this may not be AEW fans. You may just watch New Japan. So we're just going to talk about New Japan. We're going to talk about the Best of the Super Juniors Night 10, which kicked off with Yoshinobu Kanemaru versus Francesco Akira, whatever you want to call him. And yeah, this is the first show out of Korakuen after 3 shows in a row that took place there. 3 really, really fun shows, I should say. So Kanemaru versus Akira kicked off the night. We had a basement drop kick from Kanemaru, which has just been his go-to start for matches as of late since he upsetted Hiromu. He followed that up with a knee breaker and just continued to, follow his knee-based attacks that we've been seeing. Akira shoots off one chop, but has his knee kicked out and then gets sent into the ropes before eating another drop kick to the knee. We have a corner drop kick, which is, again, just focused all on tearing apart Francesco's knee here. Kanemaru heads to the floor and then wraps Akira's knee around the ring post. We have a sunset flip from Francesco, which gets a 2 count, and then follows up with a rolling double stomp on Kanemaru. The speed fire gets attempted, but Kanemaru gets out, landing a basement dropkick, and then locks in the single leg Boston Crab. Francesco gets out of this, and Kanemaru goes up top for deep impact, but it gets blocked as Akira catches him midair with his own dropkick, and then follows up with a fireplex and a bridge for a 2 count. Fireball gets attempted from Francesco, but Kanemaru drops down to block it and then goes for several roll-up attempts here for a few near falls. But eventually, Francesco fights out of this and levels him with a kick. Speedfire lands, but gets a 2 count, and then Francesco follows this up, calling for it, and he lands Fireball, with Francesco Akira picking up another win. This match would send him to 6 points, with Kanemaru sitting at 4 points, and this would mathematically eliminate Yoshinobu Kanemaru from winning Best of the Super Juniors. Thought it was a solid little match to start here. I will say this just, this goes for pretty much the entire night. This was definitely not as... The environment, I think, did a lot for this, where the show just didn't feel nearly as fun as the Korakuen shows. The Korakuen crowds were very lively, and with the smaller, environment, the claps really elevated it. The crowd, anytime they gasped, you could hear it. So that definitely helped the Korakuen shows. But I will say this whole night was a step down, just in terms of excitement, I would say. Not to say it was bad by any means, but, just wanted to put that out there. If you're watching the Korakuen shows or, looking for match highlights and then you go from Korakuen to this, it's going to feel different. So just keep that in mind. But still, solid little match. Francesco Akira continues to, I would say, improve as we watch him wrestle and impress as well. And Kanemaru, I've said it on nearly every night of the podcast, but I still find the guy incredibly underrated. After this, we would have Clark Connors taking on the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, which is Taiji Ishimori here. We have mounted corner strikes from Clark to kick this off, and he comes off the top rope with a big double axe handle. We have Clark putting Ishimori into a gorilla press position, which I feel like I haven't seen him do this tournament. So, just really selling his strength as a wrestler. But Taiji manages to get off and sends Clark to the floor, and then sends him face first into the ring post, not once but twice in a row here. Back in the ring, we have a big pounce from Clark, which sends Ishimori flying into the ropes, and he follows up with a corner elbow and a corner spear, and then a fireman's carry throw for a 2 count. Clark calls for his patented spear, but Ishimori runs him shoulder first into the exposed corner, capitalizing with a shoulder breaker after for a 2 count. Mystica gets attempted by Ishimori, but Clark gets out, and then we have a spear attempt from Clark, but Ishimori catches him in a Fujiwara armbar as Clark scrambles to the ropes. This was a fantastic counter from Ishimori. It looked very clean. A deadlift release German from Connors sends Ishimori across the ring. We have Clark hits his big spear for 2. Trophy kill gets attempted, but Ishimori gets out, but then gets dropped with Clark's power slam. Trophy kill gets blocked again, and then the bone lock gets locked in. Clark fails to get to the ropes. He tries to fight, but he has to tap as Ishimori wins and moves to 10 points, with Clark Connors sitting at 6. Clark Connors continues to have a very good tournament match quality-wise, and I'd say the same for Taiji Ishimori. I think both guys are having really solid tournaments. I'm really enjoying Clark back in Japan. I think he's just a great talent, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for him. I think he's very promising. Bushi versus Teton. You cannot pay me. You simply cannot pay me to be invested in Bushi as a wrestler. Kicking off here, Bushi attacks Teton during his entrance and then proceeds to choke him out with the Mexican flag, and then attacks Titan's mask here at ringside. Teton gets sent to the ring but comes back and dives out, still wearing his jacket. We have an air raid crash from Teton for a 2 count. Top rope, Bushi continues to go after the mask, undoing it and having it come off all the way. Just feels kind of weird for Bushi to randomly do this, but sure. We have a springboard dropkick from Teton, following up with a huge dive over the top rope to the floor. A big thrust kick nails Bushi, with Teton dropping Bushi with a neckbreaker over his knee. We have a chop exchange in the ring, but it gets cut off by a big strike combination from Teton. And a Pele kick from him as well. I really like Teton's striking. I think he's a very good striker. Bushi cuts off the offensive run from Teton with a DDT. We have more strikes from Teton, which again look really good, but he ends up getting dropped with an enzigiri. Spinning overhead face breaker on the knee from Teton, which is a very interesting move, and eventually lands the springboard double stomp, and he wins. Teton moves to 4 points, though remember he is mathematically eliminated already, and Bushi manages to sit at 6 points on the verge of elimination. Yo versus Taguchi. I'm probably biased in this because Taguchi beating Yo here, to put a real damper on my tournament. Taguchi goes for a clothesline, but Yo backflips to dodge. We have Taguchi doing his own Matrix-like dodge of his own. Yo gets his leg cut out from beneath him before Yo then drops Taguchi and drop kicks his buns of steel. Yo locks the wrists behind Taguchi as he backs up his rear to break free and then drops Yo with a dragon screw, targeting his leg. We have a cartwheel hip attack in the corner and followed up with a bulldog, which was a nice combination from Taguchi. The bummer gets countered with Yo going for a roll-up. Taguchi gets free and applies the ankle lock. Again, Taguchi, when he wants to be, is a very smooth technical wrestler. And Yo transitions into his own knee bar here as the two trade submission holds. Yo then drops Taguchi with a series of 2 German suplexes, but Taguchi gets out. 5-star clutch gets attempted from Yo, but Taguchi rolls through for his own 2 count here. Big near fall. Taguchi then drops the pants, and we trade 2 count near falls. Yo runs the ropes repeatedly, but Taguchi ends up rolling him up and sits down on Yo, and Taguchi gets the major upset here and wins. Moving to 4 points, though, again, Taguchi is eliminated, and Yo sits at 6 points. I'm not 100% sure if this eliminated him from the tournament, but if it didn't, then it's very close. We'll see what happens on night. Again, night 11 has already happened. I haven't looked at the results, but not feeling good with my pick for Yo to win Best of the Super Juniors. Ace Austin versus Sho. Ace came into this in the lead of A Block, having a very hot tournament. Ace makes his entrance with his... this is a very good spot here, and how he has the cane magically appear. Sho catches it in midair and nails Ace with it, and the two head to the floor. Sho grabs a chair as they brawl, and Ace gets sent into a concrete wall. Ace gets the chair, and Sho then grabs the Best of the Super Juniors trophy, and we have a standoff with it as both men drop the weapons. Sho then dives for the chair, but Ace saves the trophy. As the referee is putting the trophy back, Sho then brings the chair down across Ace Austin's back and sends him into a large metal door as Sho then drags the referee back into the ring to start the count. Ace gets back into the ring, but flips out backwards through the ropes to quickly trip up Sho here. As Sho goes out to the floor, and then Austin gets back in and nails Sword to Glory on the floor. This is a very interesting. It wasn't bad. It was honestly very impressive from Ace. It's just very hard to describe what he did here, with trying to mess up Sho and confuse him. Just writing it is very hard to describe. You'd have to see it for you to fully understand what he did here. But it was a nice strategy on Ace Austin's part. Back in the ring, the House of Cards lands for Ace as he calls for the fold. Sho catches him and sends Ace into the ref, allowing Sho to nail a low blow on Ace as he grabs the wrench. He nails Ace on the head with it. Kenta Sato comes out as a replacement ref with Sho trying to pin him. Ace kicks out, and then the snake bite gets locked in, and Ace passes out. He does not tap, so they did make Ace look really strong here by not having him tap out. But Sho wins and moves to 8 points, and Ace Austin sits at 10, which means following Ishimori versus Clark Connors, that Ace Austin and Taiji Ishimori are tied at 10 at this point in the tournament as the leaders of the A block. Wheeler Yuta versus Master Wato. Wheeler Yuta, obviously the ROH Pure Division champion, and Master Wato, one half of the IWGP Tag Team champions. Wato kicks things off here with a head scissors takedown and a series of kicks towards the head, following up with a series of body kicks to just level Yuta out of the gate. Wheeler goes high and comes down with an armbar takedown on Wato for a 2 count that looked really nice. Wato fires up with a big leg lariat off of the ropes to cut off Wheeler's repeated arm targeting. A dropkick from Wato sends Yuta to the floor as Wato goes over the top rope with a nice looking dive. This tournament has a lot of people with very nice looking dives, so if you're into that, plenty of goodness in the Best of Super Juniors. Rosita Mente gets a 2 count on Wheeler Yuta. The Tenzan Tombstone driver gets attempted, but Yuta blocks it and takes out the leg. Cattle mutilation gets attempted, but Watto gets out pretty quickly, and then backslides Wheeler Yuta for a 2 count. He follows this up by nailing a high-angle German suplex for a 2 count, and Master Watto goes high and misses with the RPP as Wheeler rolls out of the way. Pain Thriller lands with a 2 count as Yuta goes to work with the repeated elbow strikes that Moxley and Danielson do before pinning Watto with the seatbelt clutch. I honestly thought this was a pretty solid match here between these two. This wasn't one that on paper I thought was going to be really anything special, but I thought the technical side of this match, I thought these two meshed really well together. So pretty cool. I would recommend going to watch this one. Not too long, and I definitely think it's worth the time to watch this one. I think Watto's like second half of the tournament I think has been pretty solid. Same with Yuta. I thought both guys got off to a not so special start, but I think in the latter stages of this, both guys are looking very good. This would send us into El Phantasmo versus TJP. Points-wise, Wheeler Yuta moves to 8 points. Master Watto sits at 4. I believe this eliminated Watto from the tournament. But not 100% sure based on where the points are for the tournament. But I think he's eliminated. And if he's not, it's not like Master Watto's going to win. El Phantasmo versus TJP. A technical start to the match with TJP locking in a clutch pin attempt early for a 2 count. ELP goes for his own bow and arrow attempt, but TJP immediately flips out as Phantasmo kips up for a nice reaction from the crowd. It was worth noting that that they stated that El Phantasmo suffered a broken nose in some capacity during his match with Robbie Eagles on Night 9. We have a cartwheel head scissors from TJP, but Phantasmo locks the legs around TJP as he tries the headstand escape, with Phantasmo spiking his head down twice onto the mat. This was a very good counter for what is kind of a stupid move. TJP gets sent into the corner, and he holds himself upside down on the top turnbuckle while Phantasmo struts, and then we have Phantasmo getting angered when he sees this, walks towards TJP, and he head scissors Phantasmo down to the floor. And then we have TJ Perkins here mocking Phantasmo's strut and dances on the apron, which, what a sight to behold here. Northern Lights suplex from Phantasmo on the floor, double knee gutbuster from Phantasmo as he sells the leg damage from his match with Eagles. We have a wrist lock from TJP as he heads up top, but Phantasmo runs up with him to cut him off, maintaining wrist control here, and then walks the ropes before getting dropped. TJP follows up with a big drop kick over the ropes. This looked really good. This was, again, something you don't really see where somebody, goes, grabs the wrist and goes up either for a tornado DDT or, an arm drag or something. But Phantasmo, knew what was coming and ran up to try and meet TJP, but then got crotched on the ropes. So pretty cool. Mamba Splash gets attempted, but Phantasmo moves. Tornado DDT from TJP gets a 2 count. ELP goes for the UFO, but TJP gets out and locks in the octopus stretch. Phantasmo strikes up the band, calling for sudden death, but TJP blocks it and drops him with a springboard forearm of his own. We have the Pinoy stretch locked in, but Phantasmo gets out as the two exchange a series of roll-ups. Before Phantasmo eventually is able to get in position for the CR2, and it lands, and he moves to 10 points while TJP sits at 6. I thought this was a really good match. I think, again, both guys are having really good tournaments. El Phantasmo's coming off the absolutely sensational match with Robbie Eagles from Night 9, which is 100% a Match of the Year contender. And TJP, for what it's worth, I think he's having a really good tournament of his own. The dude is just so technically sound. Whether you like him or not as a person, it's pretty undeniable that TJP is just a super gifted wrestler. Some of the smoothest transitions in the ring, and he has great chemistry seemingly with everybody he gets in with. So I would definitely recommend checking out Phantasmo versus ELP. Following up El Phantasmo versus TJP, we would move on to Robbie Eagles versus El Lindaman. Some more B-block action here. Early on, we had a leapfrog from Eagles, followed up by a stomp of his and a dropkick. An arm drag attempt from Lindemann gets blocked, but he comes back with a hard backdrop to Robbie. This looked kind of rough. Lindemann then drops Eagles in the corner with a cutter, something that I don't think we've seen from him in this tournament, which is, nice. I feel like every match Lindemann just, shows off some new moves, or moves that we haven't seen, which, is pretty exciting, even if it's just like basic moves. Elbow strikes from Lindemann drops Robbie to his knees, and he follows up with a big drop kick to the back of the head. Robbie flies off the ropes with a fast Hurricane Rana to take back control. He lights up Lindemann with a series of kicks and takes him down with a running one off the ropes. Lindemann avoids the double knees with him using his short arm DDT. We have elbow strikes from both in the center of the ring. Lindemann gets the best of Robbie before getting sent into the ropes as Robbie hits a modified 619 to the back of Lindemann's legs. Eagles then goes for a springboard and Lindemann catches him with the fireman's carry. We have an Asai DDT from Robbie for a 2 count. This looked really cool. I'm a big fan of this move. Eagles goes up top for the 450, and Lindemann dodges before sending Robbie into the corner pad with a T-bone suplex. I still don't know the name of this move. They keep saying it, but I just don't know what it is. Lindemann hits what I'm just describing is the one-armed over-the-head slam that he does. We had a German suplex attempt from Lindemann. Robbie gets out and tries for the Ron Miller special, but Lindemann blocks it. Roll-up attempt from Robbie. Roll-up attempt from Lindemann for a big near fall. German suplex gets attempted once again from both men here, but Robbie manages to land the turbo backpack for another 2 count and then locks in the Ron Miller special and taps out El Lindemann as Robbie Eagles moves to 8 points and El Lindemann also sits at 8 points. Robbie ties him off of this match. I thought these two had great chemistry. Eagles, I would say similar to Watto and Yuta, had not the strongest start to the tournament, but his latter half just feels like it's really picking up with his performances in ring. And El Lindemann, I think, is one of the stars of the tournament. From the first night of this to where we're at now, this guy has just been must-watch for me. So go out of your way to watch Lindemann matches, and I would definitely recommend Eagles versus Lindemann as well. Our semi-main event, A block here with Hiromu Takahashi versus Alex Zane. Both, I would say Alex Zane definitely one of the stars of the tournament. Hiromu, obviously the star of the junior division, but they're doing an injury thing with him, so, makes sense. Quick start here as both guys look for some big moves right off the bat, both dodging before they play to the crowd, twirling their own hair. Zane comes up with a knee strike on the apron and follows up with a flipping leg drop to the back of Hiromu's head. A flip over the top rope onto Hiromu's back, and then a shooting star senton for a 2 count. Zane, commentary questions if he's going to remain the happy guy that we've seen in the tournament thus far, or if he will target the injured knee of Hiromu. And they debate it, and as they're debating it, Alex Zane then begins to work over the knee, laying into it with kicks, lifting Takahashi and dropping him with an elbow strike to the face. Zane goes out to the floor, and Hiromu comes off the apron with a big drop kick. Back in the ring, we have a shotgun drop kick from Hiromu, which sends Zane flying into the turnbuckle, but he gets out of the pin attempt. Baja Blast gets attempted, but gets countered. Zane comes back with his own handspring kick. A jumping Rana from Alex Zane, which always seems to get an audible reaction from the crowd, just, because of how tall this guy is, and, how big he is compared to the other guys in this tournament. It sends Hiromu off the top turnbuckle and basically across the ring. He went flying off this for a big 2 count. Thrust kick from Hiromu with Alex on the apron, and Hiromu follows up with the sunset bomb onto the floor. Taco driver gets attempted back in the ring, but Hiromu flips out and lands the complete shot to cut off Zane's offense. Hiromu bomber for a 2 count. Thrust kick once again, and he follows up with the victory royale. Time bomb 2 then gets looked for, but Zane drops him with the Baja Blast as a counter. Another thrust kick from Takahashi, which is the third for the match. A pop-up knee from Zane, but Hiromu locks in a submission. Zane then lifts Hiromu for the powerbomb, but he drops the big man with but Hiromu counters the powerbomb into a stunner and locks the submission back in and taps out Alex Zane. And Hiromu moves to 8 points, and Alex Zane sits at 8, so this is a tie as well in this match. I thought these two had a really solid match here, more physical than I think I was expecting. I think Hiromu's doing a great job for the most part of selling his leg. There were portions of this where it just felt like he was back to normal, obviously, and just, sprinting through a bunch of moves and then not really selling it. But for the most part, anytime his knee is getting targeted or if he's going for some type of power move and his knee gives out, I think he's doing really good. And Alex Zane, again, I think this guy has had a fantastic performance this tournament and has really gotten over with the fans. And I think most people are definitely going to want to see him popping up in New Japan again sooner rather than later. Our main event here, one of the big matches of the tournament, El Desperado versus Doki. I really, really wish this happened in Korakuen. I just feel like the atmosphere would have been so much better for this. This was still a fantastic main event, but just imagining this in front of the crowd that got Robbie Eagles and El Phantasmo, this match would have been elevated so much more. The two just lay into each other here to kick things off. Despy tells Doki to give me your best, and Doki comes out on top of their first exchange here with a lariat and a neck breaker before sending Desperado to the floor. Doki works over the ailing neck of Desperado and just locks in a series of holds here, targeting the neck region. We've slaps to the side of the head from Doki as Desperado comes back to his feet, coming to life with elbows just straight to the face of Doki. Another neck breaker from Doki sends Desperado to the floor once more. He goes for his tope suicida, but Desperado kicks him off of the apron, coming through the ropes with his own dive before sitting with some fans in the front row. There's this rough-looking scoop slam from Desperado on the floor that just looks like Doki just takes this very roughly. But he gets back in for the 19 count. A dragon screw in the corner from Desperado as he goes to work on the leg with a submission. Enziguri from Doki misses as Desperado locks in the numero dos for the first time very briefly, before a rope break is secured by Doki. A dropkick off the second rope from Doki cuts off Desperado's momentum as he tries to will himself back into life with his injured knee here. We have a whiplash dropkick to the back of the head and a leaping DDT from Doki, which gets a 2 count. The Doki chokey gets locked in for the first time, but Desperado makes it to the ropes quickly for a rope break. A really good spot here was Daybreak getting attempted, but Doki getting caught here and just gets dropped with Guitar Day on Hell for a 2 count. Doki Choki gets locked in for the second time, and Desperado fails to get to the ropes for this. And Doki brings him back into the center, and they really tease Desperado fading here, but at the last minute his foot falls on the ropes, and it was a very, very well done rope break. A tope suicida DDT from Doki lands on the floor. He drops Desperado right onto the concrete. This looked nuts. Doki sends Desperado back in and manages to land Daybreak for a huge near fall. Doki Choki gets locked in for the third time here, but Desperado gets out and locks in numero dos in the center of the ring. Doki gets one arm free and crawls, but Desperado drags him back to the center and locks it back in, and Doki gives up verbally, submitting here to Desperado as Desperado moves to 10 points and Doki sits at 6. This was a fantastic main event. The final minutes of this were just wonderful. The teasing of Desperado fading to Doki Choki, or the Italian stretch 82, whatever you want to call it. And then the finish here with numero dos and teasing Doki managing to fight out of this and then having to verbally give up. I thought this was great. I definitely would like to see this down the line on a bigger stage, maybe for the title the next time Desperado has it. This was fantastic. I thought both guys had great chemistry, and in front of a better crowd, this would have been even better. So coming out of this, the matches I would definitely recommend would be El Desperado versus Doki, Hiromu Takahashi versus Alex Zane, Robbie Eagles versus El Lindemann, Phantasmo versus TJP, and I'd say Wheeler Yuta versus Master Wato. The rest of this you could probably skip, if I'm being perfectly honest, in terms of like must watch. Show versus Ace was fun, but nothing special in terms of like wrestling wise. If you wanted to add one more to what you should watch, I would maybe say Clark Connors and Taiji Ishimori. But yeah, so that's where we're at. So so coming out of this, El Desperado and El Phantasmo lead B block with 10 points, and Ace Austin and Ishimori lead A block with 10 points. I think I said that correct. If I messed up, Phantasmo and El Desperado B block with 10 points, Ace and Ishimori with 10 in A block. So so that was night 10 of the Best of the Super Juniors for New Japan. Remember, if you're listening to this on YouTube, please leave a like and comment. Subscribe as we push towards 150 subscribers. You can check out our other content as well, as we cover AEW and Impact on a weekly basis. We have our Double or Nothing review coming out soon. We have Angelo's Mukbang Punishment that will be coming out soon. We are about to be in June, so we are going to have coverage for Slammiversary on June 19th for Impact Wrestling, and I believe the following Sunday is Forbidden Door for AEW New Japan, so we will have coverage for those. And then the rest of the summer, there's Money in the Bank for WWE, SummerSlam for WWE, the G1 for New Japan, any other big specials that AEW does for TV, the weekly shows for Impact and AEW, and then going to September, we have All Out, obviously. So very busy next couple of months here for wrestling fans and specifically for our podcast. So you don't want to miss out. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us over on Twitter at Deep Six Wrestling without the G. And subscribe to the podcast as well. We're streaming on basically every platform that you can find podcasts on. Apple, Stitcher, Overcast, Breaker, Google, Anchor, anything that you can find podcasts for. Just look up the Deep Six Wrestling Podcast. If you're new, you can also just go to the episode description. We have the links for where we are streaming. And yeah, so thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Remember to leave a like and comment if you're on YouTube. Leave a review on Spotify or Apple to help us continue to grow the podcast. And until next time, that's it for me. Enjoy the rest of your day.